In the previous lesson, we set up our front end so that we've got an index page, and then whatever we've got here within the index page, we're actually outputting and it's visible to the users. So I've made a quick update to this code. I've added in all the HTML tags so that we have a basic page ready to go. Let's also add in jQuery because we are going to be using jQuery in order to make requests. I'm going to use the Google CDN for jQuery. So grab that and place that in, and then we've got script here. And we're good to add in all of our jQuery script here as well. So we know earlier that we had set up a bunch of routes on the path. Let's first of all make sure that jQuery is working within our page. And you can check to see if jQuery is working by just typing in jQuery. And if you get something returned, then you know that you've got jQuery hooked up and ready to go. So now we can make use of jQuery. And let's start by setting up our document ready. This just makes sure that our document object is ready for use within jQuery before we try to apply some functionality. So we're going to set up some click events. We'll set up a div, give it a class of btn, and we'll just say click me. So when this button gets clicked, let's set that up. And in jQuery, it's really easy to grab those click events. So we can specify it by btn. And we're waiting for the click event handler. And then when it gets clicked, then we can fire off and we can do a function in here. So let's make sure that that is working as well. We'll just console log out that it's been clicked. And we could also apply some styling to make it look a little bit more like a button. So for the button, let's do border and have some padding for it as well. So there we go. So let's refresh the page. So we've got a big, huge click me button. And also do a display inline block. So there we go. So we've got a button, we click it, and whenever it gets clicked, it goes into this function over here. So this is where we can make our requests. We could also set up our inputs as well. So input type, and this one's, it's going to be text input. Give it a name. So this is going to be our user name, or we'll just call it user. So to match with what the backend is expecting. And within the placeholder, we can do username. And we'll do another one for the password as well. So text, we're going to keep it as text so that we can actually see the password that gets entered in. So treat it as we would any other text field. So let's refresh. So we've got username, password, and a click me button. So it looks like we're ready to go. So let's go back into our node, just make sure that it's still up and running. And what we want to do is we want to take some content from here and have it clicked and then have it sent into the backend. So for this, we're going to need to set up a really simulated database. So I've got a file that I'm going to use here and copy and paste it in. Let's clean that up a bit. So this is a really simple database. It's got two users by default. So user, pass, ID, user, pass, and ID. So they've got both user, pass, IDs. And what we want to do is we want to insert whatever the user has pressed here as inputs and send it into the database, and then maybe return back that entire database. So that's coming up in the next lesson. So go ahead, set this up and make sure that it's working. Make sure your jQuery is all set up and ready to go. And the next lesson, we're going to dive deeper into how we can send stuff from the front end to the back end code. So it's coming up.